I think different phases of your career you move differently. So at that time, I used to shy away from my looks. I didn't want people to say he's there because he looks this way. I wanted people to say, "वो actor, दमदार actor है, वो अच्छा actor है." So I would hide my looks. I would I wouldn't wear. I still don't. I have like a habit of never looking in the mirror. Mega stars, they have a mask, they're mega stars, they've lived a certain life which none of us will ever understand. I mean, I can't even scratch the surface of what he must have, for 25 years, from his first movie, he's been a mega star. The warmth of this country and the dreams and hope and aspirations of this country, it feeds into the people and it feeds into dreamers like me. I mean, actors are all dreamers. We live on hope. Yes. So this country kind of taught me that, to live on hope, to keep dreaming, to keep believing it'll happen. I think this is my favorite interview yet. I'm not kidding. This is my favorite interview up until now that I've done. Like, I think period we can say. Like, I've really enjoyed this.
Namaste Darshako, I am Manjari Mukherjee and you are watching me on Pop Diaries channel on Not So Mainstream. Well, I have to tell you, this is a series where we have a conversation with some conventional people, but about their unconventional journeys. Today's guest, they say ki best fruits take time to ripen. Well, this is something that we have to say about this artist as well. Well, he is a true blue fruit of labor and pure hard work because he has set a mark quite high in the industry with what? With his notable characters and impeccable performances. He's very good looking, I have to say you that. But I have to tell you that we all have started calling him Bashir Urf Bash Khan. Why? And rightly so, because he is one tough fighter out there in the industry. You have guessed it completely right. It is none other than Akshay Oberoi. Welcome to Pop Diaries on Not So Mainstream.
What a nice introduction. Thank you so much. How sweet.
But I have to ask you, how are you feeling with the reaction?
Oh, you work your whole life to get that adulation. You work your whole life, especially actors. I mean, this is what we seek. Any actor telling you they don't want attention, they're lying. And I've been working for so many years and I've had so many releases where, picture release hui aur main dusra shoot pe hu and no one knows who I am and no one knows the hard work I just did. But I just kept going and I kept going. So your introduction really touches me because it's like, if you do that, people notice. And you keep hearing that, elderly people say, put your head down, work, the rest will come. It does. That takes a longer time. As you said with your analogy about fruits, it takes a longer time, but it comes. So I'm feeling great. I'm feeling so happy.
Absolutely, and I think you should definitely, you deserve this recognition. You deserved it long back. But
thank you.
That's a different story.
What's nice though, people are connecting the work.
Yes.
Like I bumped into a bunch of people in the morning. I just came from Bhuj as we were talking, and people are connecting the work. So now they know, Acha, you're the guy from Pizza, right? Or you're the guy from Inside Edge. You're the guy from Gurgaon. You're the guy from whatever, Lal Rang. So that feels cool. Because earlier I was like, I also did a lot of character work. So
yes.
My look changes all the time. So people don't connect, ye to wahi hai, and I keep doing different roles. So it's not like, I played a flesh trade owner and a drug dealer. And so I keep changing. So I kept thinking people are not recognizing all this filmography of mine, but somewhere they do, somewhere they do.
And I think not a lot of people know, because this is my first time I'm having a conversation with you, right? And I was just reading up on you. I'm a very curious little thing. So,
yeah, that's
and
cool.
And I just came across, you have learned acting in the US.
Yeah.
And I was looking, there were so many places that you've learned, learned techniques of acting and everything. And I was surprised. I was completely shocked. Like one man can do so much. I mean, you just kept learning and learning and learning. And now we are getting to see that on screen.
Yeah.
So beautifully coming out. Was acting always a choice for you, or did it like come suddenly to you? Like, ek din maine ek theater play kar diya, hota hai na kabhi kabhi, and you understand that this is what I want.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's your Bengali, heritage or what, but that's like, doing research like that is really, that's very cool, because a lot of people interview you and they don't know these things about you. So that's great.
Thank you.
But so I grew up in New Jersey. I was born in New Jersey in America. My dad was there handling business, and that's where I was raised. And around the age of 12 or 13 is when I said, "Mujhe actor banna hai." And my father was like, "Okay." You know, he always had this thing of moving back to India. Like, he's a patriot. He didn't want to die in America. He was there to sort of make money, build a family, and then he was going to move back. So I said, "वैसे भी आप वापस जा रहे हो, मैं भी चलता हूँ साथ में." And he said, "Okay, but you should study this. This is not a joke. Like, you can't take it as like, stardom and fame and all this stuff. You should figure this out." So I remember him just saying that, and I was like, whatever to get him to say yes to be an actor, I'll do. So I started studying. I started doing local theater in my neighborhood in Morristown, New Jersey. And funnily enough, that's where I saw Kohna Pyare for the first time. And I remember that exactly which theater I was in, where I was sitting, and Hrithik Roshan on screen, and me leaving. And I must have been 14 or 15, and me leaving the theater being like, "Acha, itni mehnat karni padegi." So it's kind of odd also, cut to Fighter, like some, I don't know, 20 years later.
It's a circle of life.
It really is, man. It really is. You have to look at the signs and say, this is what it is. It all sort of connects itself weirdly. So yeah, I studied a bunch. I went to Johns Hopkins. I got a degree in theater and economics. And then I graduated. I worked on Wall Street for a very tiny bit of time, which I've never spoken about anywhere. I wonder if Ahmed even knows this sitting over there. So I worked at Goldman Sachs for 6 months, and I realized this is not for me. And I quit. And a bunch of my friends from college were living in New York and working in New York. And so I used to just bum on the couch. And I went to acting school again at Stella Adler. And then I went to LA.
Yes,
Because
you
my
did.
my teacher from Johns Hopkins, John Aston, he said, ki, "You're not ready yet to work. You need more refinement." So he sent me to school in LA, and I was there for a little bit of time too, called the Playhouse West. And then I moved back, and then I knew nothing. So I went straight to Prithvi, and Makaran Deshpande was like, "तू रोज क्यों आता है यहाँ पे?" और मैं बहुत भूखा हूँ, मुझे acting करनी है. And he took me, and that's where the journey starts in Bombay.
And I think that hunger is which has brought you over here right
Oh
now.
yeah, definitely.
In this moment.
Definitely. And the hunger is only growing. Like, it's becoming unsatiable. Like, I want to do so much more, and I want to achieve so much more. Let's see.
One thing that struck me as, a little, I became a little curious again, is about the fact that you moved from US to India, right? And you said that your father is a little bit of, like a patriot.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how proud he must
Yeah.
be right now with
Yeah.
you doing Fighter.
Yeah.
And, somewhere, dying for the country in the film.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but what is that one thing? I wouldn't ask you the difference. More like I would ask you, how has India been to you all these years? And what is that one thing that you've learned from being back in India and is still with you completely, you've absorbed it?
Wow, great question. Great question. India's home. I belong here. I always knew I belonged here. My wife also, Jyoti, she grew up in New Jersey, and she feels the same way. Second, when you come, things are all over the place. But now it's been a decade plus, and much more than that. And we're so glad we ended up back here. Our parents left this country, moved to America to have a life, raised us there, and we're back here. And I have so much pride in that. I have so much pride that my son is growing up in this country as a true blue Indian. And so the warmth of this country and the dreams and hope and aspirations of this country, it feeds into the people. And it feeds into dreamers like me. I mean, actors are all dreamers. We live on hope.
Yes.
So this country kind of taught me that, to live on hope, to keep dreaming, to keep believing it'll happen. The same way we believe that India is destined to be a great nation amongst nations, and it is on that path.
Exactly.
That sort of manifestation helps, and not to, diss America in any way. I mean, I grew up there, but that same hope and aspiration and ambition lacks there right now, which is probably the biggest problem in that country today.
Right.
Yeah. Also the people. Indians are so, like mere building mein sabke darwaze khule. My son can run anywhere he wants in the building, go to any friend's house in the building, and it's understood. Everybody here will be like, wo to hamare bhi society mein hai. But in America, that's not the case. So it's the people. There's a lot of love here. So we're so proud to be back. And as you said about Fighter, not only my father, but me, me and Jyoti, we both feel like, I'm so proud that the film that sort of put me on the map for an audience is this patriotic film. because that's really how we feel. I'm almost feeling emotional talking about it, because again, it's that circle of life of like, what you believe, what you manifest, what you feel, it comes to you.
True, very true. I completely agree with that part.
Yeah.
And I, when I was looking at your journey, like the characters that you told, that right now people are, suddenly recognizing you from those characters as well. I have to say, you have the looks of a conventional hero. But somehow you've always been attracted. I don't know if it's you being attracted to it, but you've always been attracted to very unconventional roles. They are very layered, very complex, and somehow they are very, very performance oriented. But ऐसा कभी feel हुआ कि यार जाते हैं, कर लेते हैं, commercial out and out मसाला movie करेंगे?
अभी तक नहीं, अब जाके वो feeling आ रही है. I think different phases of your career you move differently. So at that time, I used to shy away from my looks. I didn't want people to say he's there because he looks this way. I wanted people to say वो actor दमदार actor है, वो अच्छा actor है. So I would hide my looks. I wouldn't wear. I still don't. I have like a habit of never looking in the mirror. My hair and makeup guy, I trust him. I don't want to see what I look like. It's on him. If I look bad, it's him. If I look good, it's him. I don't want to be distracted by that. And I tried very hard in the beginning of my career to pick roles that didn't define me as a good-looking guy, that defined me as a character, as a human being, as a complex, layered person, which we all are. I thought that would make my shelf life as an actor longer, and that's really what I was interested in. So I was being myself. I've never felt anything about my looks. It took me a long time to even. I still get very shy when someone stops me and say, "You have beautiful eyes," or you look really nice. I feel very. I want to hide away from that. I don't want people to say that to me, and I want them to say, "You're a good actor." So that was the desire. And I feel like finally, after so much work and so many different characters, that is what people stop me for and say. That like, hey, that scene in Fighter pre-climax was like, kya performance thi yaar. No one in Fighter has told me you looked really good, and that's felt so nice. In such a big commercial
Wouldn't
movie.
it be bad if I do tell you that?
No. Now I think I thank you. I think now I'm coming to.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I know.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Hrithik Roshan is a green card, obviously,
yeah.
You in uniform, besides him with that eyes and everything.
Oh, thank you.
God.
Thank you. So this is what I was coming to. Now I've learned to embrace this. This is also something you have to accept from the world. You can't say like, oh no, don't say that. I have to have a better relationship with it. So I'm starting here on your show to have a better relationship with how I look and to accept those compliments as well and not to throw them out. You have to keep learning and evolving as a human being. Of course, I think earlier it was like, I had nothing to do with this. This came from whatever, so how can I take pride in it? But there's something, it's not pride. It's a thing of acceptance and embracing and loving yourself. So that's the next phase of the journey. So yes, I want to do a out and out commercial film where it's just about me and how I look. How about that?
Wow, super. I'll be waiting for it.
All right,
Absolutely.
Awesome.
But, we are talking about Fighter, we're talking about unconventional choices. But I also have to say this, and kudos to you, Akshay, because I have not seen a lot of people who've started out as a lead actor. Let me tell you, Rajshri film, okay, Isi life mein, okay, as a lead actor, dream debut for anyone out there, okay. And then you also go on to play second leads, special appearances, cameos. It's all about the quality and not just the quantity that you're, involving yourself with. But मतलब initially तो किसी को भी वो inhibition होगा ही ना जिसने lead किया है कि भाई मैं ये नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि फिर लोग मुझे lightly लेना शुरू करेंगे. So did you feel that?
That is an amazing question. Again, thank you for asking that because I don't think people see it that way. वो भूल जाते हैं कि मैंने वो सारी चीजें की थी पहले. I think when you hit rock bottom, when you're all the way, you've really just hit the ground and there is nowhere else to go, you lose all inhibitions and you become absolutely fearless. And you say, ki, I have to run my kitchen. I have to make a life. I want to be an actor and this is the journey I want to be on. I have no choice. I can't wait around and say कि अब करण जौहर का phone आएगा, अब आदि चोपड़ा का phone आएगा. And उस वक्त those were the only people that could make you. Rajshri was amongst them, but unfortunately my film didn't work. And there was the options were go back to theater, which I did for a bit, go to TV, or just do whatever comes that gives you some way of facing the camera and working on your craft. Because the toughest part about being an actor for film is I need a camera, I need dialogue, I need a director, I need a unit, I need a crew. The only way to get that is to get a job. So the only way to improve as a film actor is to work. So that connected in my head, and the second that sort of clicked, I was like, okay. Then I think I did Fitur and I did Piku and I did all these little parts with people, just to be like, hi director, you're Sujit Sarkar, I'll spend half a day with you, but I hope to impress you today. I saw them as auditions for these directors. And that's what I did, and I feel like that brought me back in a way. And then OTT came and everything changed.
I think, and in a way, I just want to clear this as well, that he received a lot of appreciation for his debut.
I did.
It was only because that time only numbers could declare a film as a blockbuster.
Yeah.
We didn't have the social media that we have today.
Yeah.
And my next question exactly was about that as an actor, do you feel that right now people have social media right at their hands and fingertips? Like right now, it's just, there's great talent out there, obviously. But sometimes it gets so chaotic and so clustered. Somehow you lose out on, because you didn't have this before. But difference aa jata hai ki you lose out on the real talent, because everybody starts thinking that, oh, I'm an actor, I'm a dancer, and they're also influencers.
Yeah.
So do you feel that thing with social media? Are you like disconnected to it, or do you feel that it is something that it's a good thing that it's there right now?
Again, I've been in sort of a wave with this. At first, I was like, what is this, yaar? Everybody puts their whole life in trying to impress people कि देखो मैं क्या cool चीजें करती हूँ या करता हूँ. And you're like, show me the real thing. What is, let's talk about your problems on Instagram. Why is it always like, look at how cool my life is? No one's life is that perfect. Everyone, like I'm talking from like the top to the bottom, everybody has problems. And all human problems. So that used to frustrate me. And I used to be like, what is this nonsense? Then it became about how many followers do you have. People started casting based on that. That became a thing. So I backed off even more. I was like, okay, if that's what you're going to do, I'm going to even push this further away. I'm not going to give anyone access to anything. So I've been through this whole journey in my head. Now I realize that it can be used in a healthy way. I don't need to be on there. I mean, the other problem with Instagram, you open and you're scrolling for like 20 minutes and you're like, I could have read a book. I could have watched something. I could have just stared at the sky. Why the hell did I do this? So what I'm now at is, this is a great platform. It's a great platform to get things out. Like you said about my first film, nobody knew that I was received well in the film, critically. But if there was social media, you could have easily gone and been like, people would have been talking about it.
Yeah.
So use it for its good. Don't let it run your life or dictate your life. That's the mantra that I'm sort of following. So the second I even open that app, I just put my phone away because I don't want to be sucked into that world. But I do need to engage with people because I do love every audience member that goes to watch my stuff. And I don't watch my own stuff. I'm so...
You don't?
No. I hate watching myself. I feel sick when I'm like, look at my nose. Why is it like that? Why is it so sharp? Why are my ears so small? Why are my fingers so thin? I can't watch. So I read everything I possibly can. So I'm just going to use it for what's good about it and put it away and not engage with it too much, but use it as a tool, to help you get your message across.
Absolutely. And I think I connect on that part where you don't watch yourself. I also don't.
You don't watch these interviews? Yeah, it's so
because
weird.
I am in them.
Yeah.
But uske baad, whenever I watch, I sit down. I do sit down to watch the interviews and everything. But then suddenly I get very self-conscious
So
about
do I.
why am I doing this? Why am I laughing like that?
Why is my hand here and why am I there? It's so much easier to play a character. It's like character kar raha hai. Main nahi kar raha hu. But here it's me and here it's you. And
Exactly.
yeah,
So
it's a
it
tough
gets
job.
very difficult for me too.
Me too. Me too.
So yeah, completely connect on that.
Yeah.
We are talking about OTT and theatricals. You've done both. And I want to know this division of content. Do you think it has put actors also, in boxes and put labels on them? Or it has made them more free?
I think earlier it made us free because the studios were making whatever. The mandate was go out, but we didn't know what would work. So they made a hard-hitting drama, they made a love story, they made a legal drama, they made this. Studios were making everything, like from Mirzapur all the way to Made in Heaven. It was like across the gamut. Desi stuff, urban stuff, So in that period, that was a golden period. I was doing all kinds of fun stuff. I would be on one set playing a drug dealer in High, and on another set, produced by Siddharth and Mamta Anand, by the way, Flesh, playing this evil flesh trade owner with like white hair and earrings and, blush and lipstick. So I was having so much fun. I think that time is gone because now the studios know, अच्छा ये work कर रहा है, ये नहीं कर रहा है. So the platforms are also kind of mandating the kind of content coming out. So now I feel like it's getting that way. It's being labeled, but again, that's धंधा है यार ये. At the end of the day, we call it an industry. It's an art made for commerce. It has to make money. So I get it. But then to find your artistic, creative self within that is the challenge. But yeah, definitely it's starting to get stereotyped and starting to have labels, which is no fun.
And do you feel that also makes, just like you said, it's a challenge to navigate yourself as an artist through these kind of constrictions? And I'm sure all the artists want to do things that, freeze them and their creativity. I want to know, in this movie business, aside from doing films or doing OTT or anything for that matter, do you feel that somewhere our real emotions we have to put a facade, we have to push them down and become something else just so that we can fit in, we can feel belonged, even at times when we are feeling completely overwhelmed?
Wow.
Have you had these
moments? I read something yesterday about how, society has to all fall into a thing. I think it was Johnny Depp saying it. Yeah, he was like, society all has to line up in a certain way, like dominoes. And he was like, I don't want to be in that. So you go do that. I'll go stand over there. And I sort of, agree with that. That I don't want to, fall into this, thing of I am who I am, and what makes me unique is me, because nobody else can be like me. No one else can feel like me. Now, if I'm trying to fall into a line and be okay, I have to say these things, and I have to go to these parties, and I have to message these directors. What am I? Who am I? What am I doing? What do I want? Who do I want to work with? Which parties do I want to attend? Are they my friends? Do I have a good time when I go there? I think living for yourself is very important, and not falling into a construct that is built for you, that you feel like you have to operate in.
Exactly.
And I feel like all the way from that down to Botox and plastic surgery, I feel so bad. That's the way it goes. People just keep feeling, Acha, the pressure of this business is this, I have to do this. The pressure is Instagram posting, I have to Instagram post. The pressure is to go to an award ceremony जा रहा हूँ. Party में जाना है because उसने phone किया, जाना पड़ेगा. All the way down to like, oh, everyone has to look big, lips and, the sharp noses. So like all these things are happening, and I look at it and I feel so sad, and I keep checking myself to be like, I'm not trying to copy anyone, right? I'm being me, right? And I think being authentic is very important, especially for an artist. The second it gets muddled with other people and trying to be someone you're not, your own authenticity goes, which makes you less real, which makes you less real in real life, like cinema life.
Exactly.
I think growth as a human being is growth as an artist, and that is important to keep aware of.
Coming back to Fighter, your latest stint, and the thing that has gave you so much of appreciation, finally.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, in Fighter, you play this role where you're touching our emotions. As you said, we were talking, and he said very rightly that Siddharth has a way of, taking out the best in the actor and, stitching it together and giving it a very aesthetic sense. We fell in love with your laugh. We fell in love with your charming smile, the way how you entered the scene, and, we loved the kind of connection that you shared with Hrithik as well on screen. We loved it. And then suddenly, we are completely bonded with this character, Bash Khan. And suddenly, we feel very, very proud, even till the end. But then we are crying because suddenly, we lose out on that bond. And it could have played two ways. Firstly, because you are putting yourself out there in an ensemble cast. So either you could have got lost because you're suddenly losing out that character. Or obviously what has happened right now. The biggest impact in the whole film is your scene. So, how did you initially look at it? Because people cannot predict this, right? How did you initially?
You can't. No, I remember when Mamta Anand called me and said, Fighter, this, that, here's the script, read it, see if you want to do it. I remember being like, I want to do it? Like, if you're giving me even a 1 minute like one line in the film, I'm coming. So she laughed and said, okay, come read it. And I came to the office and I read it and I was like, oh my God, like not only am I in this massive movie starring this like incredible megastar and several megastars, Deepika Padukone, Hrithik Roshan, Anil Kapoor, and then Siddharth Anand, and then I have this role. Like I was very confused and I was like, Mamta came, I remember she said, how is it? Do you like it? And I was like, do I like it? Like I want to sign it now so that you don't give it to anyone else. So I never looked at it from, I got lucky in the fact that it was what it is. That's my destiny or karma or whatever you want to call it. I always say, somebody says you deserve it, and I say, oh, how do you know what I deserve? So I don't know what I deserve. I just know how to work. So however you want to tag it came from that, and I would have done anything in the movie just to be in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, so I never was like, abhi main stand out honga ki nahi, like I know I'm not in denial. I know exactly where I stand in this business, and there is like just having one scene with Hrithik, I would have been like, I'm on.
Wow, super. And that is where I want to ask, how was it like working with him off screen? Because on screen, हमने देखा है.
Yes.
It's cool. It's
Yeah,
dope.
it's cool.
I
It's
love
dope.
that
It's dope.
connection.
Dope,
I think
yeah.
you guys should go do another film together. Complete.
Hrithik, if you're listening, let's start.
Please
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, how's it with him off screen?
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, like that guy is incredible. I fell in love with him. I mean, he, mega stars, they have a mask. They're mega stars. They've lived a certain life which none of us will ever understand. I mean, I can't even scratch the surface of what he must have for 25 years. From his first movie, he's been a mega star. And they lose, I feel that you tend to start losing a bit of yourself. But this man is so in touch with who he is and so in touch with his, once he takes the mask off, he's vulnerable and he's innocent and he's kind and he's magnanimous and he's like, all he really cares about is being a good actor. He's been given this cloak of, I have to be megastar. So he wears it and he wears it beautifully. I mean, look at him. But really inside, it's just an actor. It's just an actor. That's what it is. And he wants whatever he can do to perform well that day. Like I don't think his immense adulation, I don't know that that's what wakes him up in the morning. What wakes him up in the morning is, I'm going to give my best shot today. And I'm going to be great today as an actor.
Wow.
And then he works and he works and he works and he rehearses and he works. And he thinks everything through. And then look at his performance in Fighter. I mean, I think it's probably one of his best. Like even
Absolutely.
As a fan, when I watched it, I was like, God damn, look at him. He's so good. And I know the commitment that went into it. Yeah, so I can talk about him all day long. And I often in my house I do.
Fanboy moment.
Yeah, it is a fanboy. They say don't meet your idols,
Yeah.
So part of me was like, oh no, this is my idol. Like, I really don't know if I should. Like, part of me was like, I really just hope this doesn't get destroyed. They say that. You always hear that.
They
but
do.
like this was like, wow, like even much more of a fanboy now.
Okay, but have you had any kind of, fangirl moment? Like people were there was someone who just kind of fawned over you and kept fawning over you.
Yeah,
memory
yeah, of course, it happens. And I'm very much like, no, come here, sit. Like, I'm a very normal person and like there's nothing special about me and feel comfortable and like, yeah, it's happened a few times. There's a fan of mine who took a flight from Morocco. She was in touch with me for a while. And then she took a flight from Morocco and came and was like, kind of knew where I lived because she had like pieced it together from different places. And she messaged me being like, I'm here. Like there are some fans on Instagram that are very ardent fans who've been there from day one that I engage with. And she was one of them. And she said, I'm here. If you can, I'm at this coffee shop. Can you come meet me? And I did. And this was after around Lal Rang Kala Kandi time, I think. And that was, it's lovely because I work for that. Each fan that I have, even now when someone takes a selfie or something, no matter, if it's 20 people, 100 people, one person, I really try and tell them how much it means to me. Because when you get something after a long time, you value it a lot more than than most
Absolutely.
people can. Because you worked for that. You know how hard you worked for that. So for me, I even saw Jackie Shroff. I was just telling you, I shot a
Yes.
film with him in Bhuj just now. He's like that too. Although he's had it from day one, I think where he comes from, he's from a chawl. So for him, it's like,
Yes.
"Main idhar kaise aa gaya?" Like, how did this happen to me? So anyone he meets, he gives love and he gives attention, and he will never push anybody and say, "Nahi, baad mein leta hu, baad mein, aana bidu, lete hain." So that kind of thing I also saw, and I was like, he's 67. For the next 30 years, this is exactly how I have to be. Like, and that's the correct thinking, that this is the way it should be for me, not for everyone. But yeah, I've had a couple of those.
Wow. And good choice, girl.
If you're listening to this, Ale, thank you.
Absolutely. And I really mean it. Good choice. I also completely second this.
Yay.
But coming back to this, you worked with Deepika twice now, in Piku and now in Fighter.
Yeah.
What is it like? Like the same kind of connection, same kind of, yeah, what was the first impression like actually?
When I met her in Piku?
Yes.
Oh
like
man,
the
I was
first
just like, oh my God, megastar, just keep your lines right and just do a good job and make sure that director's happy. It's Sujit Sarkar. Make sure actually he's a superstar then, megastar now. Like it was an opportunity to work with somebody who had like huge fan base. And it was one scene, but I remember the first day we met on Fighter. It was like there was this warm hug and there was this warm greeting, and Sid was like, "You guys know each other?" And she was like, "Yeah, we worked on Piku." And I realized in that moment that for me it was very important, that movie. But I realized in that moment how important it was for her. She was playing a titular character for the first time, and that movie with Bachchan Saab and Irfan Khan Saab and Sujit Sarkar, it meant a lot to her also, I realized. So our bonding kind of, when you've made a cool movie together and a movie that matters together, you have that bond for life. I know that with other people I've worked with, you have that bond for life. And what I'll say about her is that she went from like superstar to megastar in those years that we didn't meet. But she's become a more real person. She really tries to be as authentic and real as possible. She doesn't, again, same thing. She doesn't want the treat me like I'm Deepika Padukone. She's like, treat me like a co-star. That's so hard for that kind of person. So I have mad respect for her. I mean, she's queen, right? She's Queen Bee.
Exactly.
Yeah, and having that kind of attitude towards it, to be like, no, keep it cool, keep it relaxed. Don't be all, caught up in your success. That's very difficult.
Absolutely.
So mad respect for her.
Akshay, there was these things that I was telling about, where you come from, how you've learned and all your journey. And you kept saying that people don't know these things. And I think in a way, people also don't know, or maybe tend to forget when an actor rises and, we only remember that turning point. And then you don't remember the initial phase and the struggle that they have gone through. Any such phase that you would like to share with us that, is something that keeps you grounded and will keep you grounded for the rest of your life as an actor? Because I feel that you are someone who's destined to be an actor. Okay? You are exactly where you should be.
Yeah.
You are doing exactly what you should be. That talent is super and it should be recognized, and it is. But people don't remember the initial phase.
Yeah.
So, is there something that you would like to share from your
This interview feels like an interview. Like, these are the things that I say in my own house when I'm talking to like my wife or friends. These are things I say that like, no one knows the story before success. People, and for no one, we don't. Morgan Freeman 50 साल का था, उसके पहले क्या किया उसने? We knew him from 50 on.
Exactly.
No one talks about that journey. So, thank you. Maybe I'm destined to be in this interview with you as well. And you're right. I mean, नाम क्या रखा माँ बाप ने? कोई choice ही नहीं दिया. Akshay Oberoi, like how much more of a Hindi film actor name can you have? Like they didn't give me an option. Like it was all the things were like like I was meant to land up here. But yeah, so I think that journey before is like that builds you, is the pain of that journey, the struggle of that journey actually makes you an actor. So after my first film released, I remember I think like 9 बजे उसका पहला शो लगा, 9:30 बजे पिक्चर उतर गई. उस टाइप का रिस्पॉन्स था वो. Like it was gone and dead. And it was Friday evening, and I think Suraj Barjatia, the great producer director, he had produced the film, his niece had directed it, was standing outside and the theatre in PVR Lower Parel. And I remember जितनी भी फिल्में लगी थी उस वक्त, तीसमार खान had released, Band Baja Barat was still running in the theatres. People are rushing into those halls, and our hall is empty, like not one person. And Surajji just kind of tapped me on the back and said, "It's all right, you have a long journey." And in that moment, I was like, "ये क्या बोल रहे हैं?" Like like zindagi khatam ho gayi kya? Long journey hi khatam ho gayi. There is no journey. And the next 3 years or 2 years that I didn't get work, that I went back to theatre, after being a Rajshri hero, being launched by Rajshri Productions, and then just auditioning and doing theatre in the evenings, until Bijoy cast me in Pizza. That was such a painful period. I shudder when I think about it, Like, I thought it was over, everything was over. I'm going to be this starving actor who, like, just does stage and sleeps on the stage and has no house. Um, I just thought everything was over, and all the dreams of being a film star and all those things were dead. And I was kind of somewhere okay with it, because it was like, as long as I get to act, I'll be okay. So if I do have to just sleep on that stage in Prithvi, I'll do it. But it's painful because you saw something, and
Yes.
and then it fell from there.
Absolutely.
So that thing, it's still like, I'm still unable to fully verbalize and express how painful that time was. But I feel like all of that is in my performance now. I know it. Like, there are certain scenes I've done that I can connect with that pain, and I know which scenes those are. And it made me see, sort of, maybe I had this cushy New Jersey life, and I grew up. I mean, not that my parents are ultra rich or anything, very middle class kind of parents, but I think I had a cushier life than most, and then I came here, and suddenly, like, the ground underneath me shook, and that destroyed me, and that made me who I am. And a part of being an actor is having a shield and having really thick skin, so that no one can break you. It's a very easy career to break people down mentally.
Exactly.
Because everyone knows your resume. Sitting here, everybody knows where I stand. And if Ritik was sitting here, everyone knows his resume. So yeah, that period made me an actor, I feel.
Wow. But what was that thought that made you fight it out like a true fighter?
There is some weird thing about passion, what it does to you. Passion makes you reach the heights of pagalpan. You do anything for that. You get up in the morning and I love this job, I'm going to make it. It's that hope and desire of success, that one day it's going to come, one day it's going to come, one day it's going to come, one day. And then you keep going at it, you keep going at it. I mean, I don't know if people know the amount of films of mine that I've released in a theater that not even one person has shown up to see it. Like, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe it's a little bit more than that, but the film came and the film went. The reviews were great. Like, Gurgaon was one of those moments where, the reviews are 4.5, 5-star,
Yeah, they were
4-star,
just critically
crazy,
acclaimed.
critically very acclaimed. Pankajji's work, my work, Shankar Raman, the director, like, slamming reviews everywhere, amazing reviews everywhere, and not one person in the theater. Cut to a year and a half later, it releases on Netflix and everyone starts watching it. But the pain of that 1 year, it's like, is picture ko kya hua, kitni achhi film banai humne. And I've had many like that. Lal Rang was like that, Kala Kandi was like that, Bomberia was like that. Pizza was more or less like that. The pain of that, of going and saying like, यार मैंने इतनी मेहनत की, और लोग सब बोल भी रहे हैं, इंडस्ट्री में लोग बोल रहे हैं कि काम अच्छा है, but कोई नहीं देख रहा. That's shattering. But somewhere I must be crazy. I must absolutely be crazy, because I don't know how I rode all that. There's some undying belief that it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Then here I am, cut to fighter, and the cinema halls are packed, and people are clapping at my scene, and I'm in Regal, and people are like, "Seediyan baja rahe, taliyan baja rahe" at my pre-climax scene, and I'm like, that's the moment I've been waiting for. Thank you, Siddharth Anand.
Perfect. I think I have to truly say hats off to you and your determination. And the fact that you kept going, even when it was absolutely, I think, yeah, in a way it was shattering. Yeah, when I listen to you right now, and I know that they were critically acclaimed, but then I also know that numbers matter more to bring in people as well.
Absolutely.
So, and that time you didn't have social media as a rage as we have it today in this digital age. So yeah, kudos to you and to your
Thank you.
determination. Thank you for keeping on going.
Oh, thank you, thank you. No, thank you for asking these great questions. And that's another thing. That word determination, it rings so true to me. My wife sent me a message on the Saturday of the release, saying this is what grit and determination do. And it felt so nice to hear it from her, because she's been on the ride with me. She's like, this is what it does. Grit and determination eventually lead to success, and you are an example of it. You should feel proud today. So I've kind of saved that message and left it. It's a nice one.
You should definitely. Last question. I want to know, what is that one thing that makes you completely not so mainstream, but you're completely cool with it? Like, you do a lot of unconventional choices, and right now people are going to love you for that. Please go and watch his movies.
Please, please. Yeah.
And but what is that one thing that makes you not so mainstream, but you are completely cool with it?
Not going to parties and not like networking within Bollywood, or I hate that word. So I'm going to call it the Hindi film industry. I'm not great at it, and I used to kick myself over it. कि मैं क्यों नहीं जाता हूँ? Like मैं shy क्यों हूँ? मैं introvert क्यों हूँ? But I'm not. I'm done with that. It's cool. Like I think I have very close friends. I like spending time with them. Of course, if there's a party that is a part of my circle, I will definitely attend. But I don't need to beat myself up over it. If I don't feel very comfortable going to hang out late nights, and do the thing, that's just fine. So I think that makes me less mainstream, but I'm totally cool with that.
Absolutely, that makes him less mainstream, but there's definitely something that makes you very, very mainstream as well, is because not only is a very good actor, he's very learned, but correct me if I'm wrong, ballet, jazz,
Yeah,
hip hop,
yeah.
like ये मतलब कैसे was Hrithik Roshan only your inspiration
Yeah.
की इन सब चीजों में भी
Yeah,
आए थे?
100%, 100%.
Okay,
No,
so
no
true.
joke, no joke. I left the theater of Kauna Pyar and I think I signed up for dance classes right after that.
Wow.
Because I was like, अच्छा हिंदी film actor बनने के लिए ऐसे dance करना पड़ेगा. Oh God! Like, do you remember that step? Of course, you remember that step, right? Like, people are,
Obviously.
you do it right now. That
Obviously.
people can do it in their sleep. I remember seeing it and being like, oh no! Like, I don't know how to dance, and like, I turned to my parents like, sign me up, because it was a means to be an Hindi film actor. It wasn't something that I'm. Even today, I'm not very passionate about it. I did study it, so it helped. Like in Sher Khul Gaya, at least I don't look like a moron standing next to Hrithik dancing. but so it helped and it paid off. But I'm not that passionate about it, and I don't really dance. Like you never see me put Instagram reels of me dancing and stuff like that. It's not something
that's
that
why not many people know about it.
Yeah, that's why not many people know that I even know how to. But because you do your research, you found, and now you're sharing it with the world. But yeah, it was Hrithik. It was definitely Hrithik Roshan that I was like, acha, I want to be actor in Hindi movies, and this is what actor in Hindi movies looks like and does. So I have to work on it.
Absolutely. And kudos to you, your determination, your journey, which is unconventional. And I'm sure that people are going to love this unconventional journey when they know more about you through this interview and through your amazing, amazing work.
And thanks to your amazing questions, because otherwise I would never, people wouldn't know this stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. Akshay, how does it feel to be on Not So Mainstream on Pop Diaries?
I think this is my favorite interview yet. I'm not kidding. This is my favorite interview up until now that I've done. Like, I think period we can say. Like, I've really enjoyed this interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And guys, please give him a lot of love. Go watch Fighter if you haven't, and watch all his other movies. They are available on the streaming platforms, obviously. So please do go. Appreciate it and leave a lot of comments in
I'll
his
read
Instagram. Okay? And keep DMing him and parishan karo unko.
Great idea. I love it. Thank you.
Okay. This was me, Manjari Mukherjee, signing off from Pop Diaries channel. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click on that bell icon. See you until next time. Bye.